Today it's Vanderbilt and South Carolina here in Nashville. Down on Music Row, some of the most famous songs in the world have come out of this street, Broadway, and out of these honky-tonks.
And some of the best songs about heartbreak, Taylor, which is how Vanderbilt feels this week, nearly knocking off number 8 Notre Dame. It's also a familiar feeling with their last two matchups against South Carolina, falling by a touchdown or less.
There's been a lot of great songs written in this town about being knocked down and getting back up. That's exactly what the South Carolina running game needs to do. Cowboy up, get back in the saddle.
Gamecocks and Commodores from up at the stadium next. Here we are on an overcast day for the Gamecocks and the Commodores from Vanderbilt Stadium. Gamecocks 1-1, lost to the Dogs 2 weeks ago. Marshall game canceled last week. This is the SEC opener for the Commodores. They have not won their first league game since 2011. South Carolina won the toss and will receive. With Chris Budden and Matt Stinchcomb, I'm Taylor Zarzer. I do not think that any of us are getting any record deals anytime soon.
We needed a songwriter to help us with that open. I actually thought it went really well. Nobody tripped or anything.
For us, we achieved victory. Thanks to Jamie and our incredible crew for executing that among all of the people down there on Music Row. Riley Gay's kick goes over the head of the Gamecocks, and South Carolina starts at the 25, Chris.
They got an unexpected weekend off last week after Hurricane Florence canceled their game with Marshall. So Will Muschamp gave the players Saturday off. They could go spend it with their families, but it was right back to work on Sunday. A lot of the players told me, listen, it was nice to get to rest your body for a week, but they would have preferred to get back out there and wash off that bad taste in their mouth from the blowout loss to Georgia. A lot of the guys told me also it was like being back in fall camp. They're just sick of hitting each other.
And here they are taking the first snap as Jake Bentley, at least initially in pistol set with Rico Dowdle, getting the handoff up the gut with plenty of space, and it's a first down run for the junior from Asheville, North Carolina. That's 15 for Rico. Bentley is thrown for over 4,700 yards and 32 career touchdowns in his 3-year career for the team out of Columbia as they go quickly. And here's the toss ahead to Debo and the jet sweep. Debo with room right at the marker and past it for another first down. And that is into Commodore territory, and that will count as Debo's 100th career catch.
They're going to get as many touches as they can for number 1, but what a great start so far for South Carolina. New offensive coordinator Brian McClendon said he wanted to be more hard-headed with his play calling. You open the game up with a downhill run. Rico Dowdle takes advantage of it. Then you go unbalanced and blow a sweep to the opposite side of the field.
He plays already inside the Commodore 40 into the end zone. Touchdown over the top. How about that to Shi Smith? 4 plays, 75 yards, 6-0 Carolina.
South Carolina coaches said, we like our matchups outside. They know the talent that they have at receiver. And you knew, talking to the Vanderbilt coaching staff, that some of the things they do with their slot routes were going to challenge the secondary of the Commodores, and already quickly in the end zone for the Gamecock offense.
38-yard touchdown. Parker White's extra point is good. Shi had the big catch in the Outback Bowl to help beat Michigan, and immediately the sophomore from Union, South Carolina, takes the touchdown pass from Bentley. Gamecocks on top. So much talk about Debo Samuel and Brian Edwards, and justifiably so, but what about this guy, Shi Smith? In 2 seasons, he has emerged as a big-time contributor for Will Muschamp's Gamecocks. 5 catches and a touchdown in the win against Vanderbilt last year, and immediately makes some noise today.
Obviously a weapon that they have at receiver, and they knew coming back this season with a healthy Debo to balance of Brian Edwards. Not only does that open up opportunities for those 2 guys, but also Shi Smith or Trey Smith being another, knowing that they can go to their slot receivers, knowing that Debo Samuel is going to move all around that formation. That's going to garner a ton of attention from the defenses. You can only focus on so many skill players at once. That's going to open up the chances and the play calling for some of the other guys, especially out wide at receiver.
Walker White Kicks it to Jamari Wakefield over his head, and Vanderbilt will start at their own 25-yard line. Kyle Shurmur, the 4-year starter at quarterback for the Commodores, had a terrific performance last week in that close call against Notre Dame, throwing for over 300 yards in South Bend.
He did a fantastic job fitting that ball into some tight windows as well. They became pass heavy versus the Irish. A lot of first down play action passes versus Notre Dame. A little bit of a departure from what we'd seen from Vanderbilt offensively, trying to push that football downfield and loosen up the box.
Jamari Wakefield, 7 yards deep, takes the first carry and gets 4, maybe 5. On the first Commodore offensive play, they scored on their first possession of the season against Middle Tennessee State, and they have not scored in the first quarter since, being outscored by the opposition 24-7.
That's the challenge for the Commodores this season, starting faster, not just on offense, defensively as well. They've already missed that opportunity defensively. Can the offense answer? Right now you've got second in the playbook. What would you like to do as a play caller in an empty backfield set?
A time for Shurmur to go underneath, and the catch is made by Cam Johnson. The true freshman moves the chains.
Get a nice play on second down. They empty the backfield, and Cam Johnson just kind of sits down right underneath coverage, able to break through the would-be tackle of T.J. Brunson, leading tackler for South Carolina, to be able to convert the sticks.
And played at Brentwood Academy just down the street. First and 10 for the Commodores from their own 31. This is Wakefield again. Runs into one of his own offensive linemen and gets a few. Second down.
Fantastic push up front by big Vaughn. That's going to be a challenge for Vanderbilt. We could talk about South Carolina wanting to get their running game established. They weren't on the field very long, but they had a couple of nice ones to be sure. Vandy's got to do that as well. This is what they want their identity to be. They want a physical run game to run play action pass off of it. You have to give that play action pass some teeth, and that only way to do that is to establish your ground game.
And this is the third time in 4 plays they're trying to establish it, and nothing is doing, as a sea of Gamecocks are there to meet Mr. Wakefield. Keir Thomas, who's getting the start at defensive end today, moving over with Dennis Swanham's injury there on the tackle.
They're trying to set up double teams at the point of attack. You got 2 blockers trying to get some movement. Keir Thomas getting that size on the edge changes things. That's where Georgia hurt South Carolina with some of their edge runs. Excellent job by the size and Keir Thomas of setting the edge and negating that run towards the line of scrimmage.
Shurmur, time, throws behind Johnson, incomplete, 4th down. Right there in coverage is the true freshman, J.C. Horn.
You know, obviously, no one wants to get in a 3rd and passing obvious down. You don't want to have to be 3rd and 8 and 9 to go. Both of these defenses are able to open up what they want to do defensively from a pressure standpoint. That time, excellent coverage by J.C. Horn. Travaris Robinson able to bring a little bit of pressure from the second level.
Columbia transfer Parker Tomey will kick it to Brian Edwards, and he barely gets this one off. Edwards from the 21-yard line is tackled at the 25, 43-yard punt. Gamecocks score on their first offensive possession, itching to be back on the field after last week's cancellation. Dowdle, look at all that wide open space past the 40-yard line and out of bounds to the 45. All right, Dari, good to have you with us, my friend. Rico gets past midfield, taking on Commodores, and look at that, all the way down to the 44-yard line. That's a first down.
Tremendous effort from Rico Dowdle right there, but take nothing away from the push that South Carolina is getting on every run up front. This offensive line is responding. They didn't run the football well at all versus Georgia. 54 total rushing yards on 20 attempts, and you can tell this is an attitude that they want to establish.
Moving it back to the Vanderbilt 44. Dowdle slips a tackle and gets inside the 40 down to the 38. Dimitri Moore is there after 6 more for Rico. Had over 100 yards in the win against Coastal Carolina, but like you said, not just Dowdle, everyone struggled to run the football against Georgia, and then it was circumstantial, Stinch. They were down 31 points in the second half and had to throw.
Right. I mean, you're running to a buzzsaw in the third quarter. 21 points. How do you stick with the run game? You can't. So the idea would be try to run the football more while you can, and the scoreboard allows you to open up a play-action pass like we saw in the illegal man downfield.
Turner, a fake to him as Bentley keeps it, and Jake gets near the 31-yard line. You won't see Bentley take off too often, as there's 32 career touchdown passes, but did run the football effectively in this victory last year.
Yeah, 6
touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, it was by far his most productive. He's not a great runner, but he is a capable runner and enough to keep a defense honest.
Vaughn Denson is the lead back, and that's him that gets the football, and Denson is right at the marker inside the 25-yard line. We'll see about the spot as Charles Wright makes the tackle.
Nice push on the left side. The South Carolina front, as Will Muschamp pointed out, he felt like they did a pretty good job, held their own in the run game. When they've been called on in this one, other than the downfield and the holding call, which is hard to erase both in this possession because it really has slowed it down. When they haven't done that, they've been able to establish that point of attack and move the line of scrimmage so far in this contest.
Instead, he goes to one of his backs, and Denson moves the pile, and he is down to the 23-yard line. That's a first down for Vaughn, who missed the first couple of games with a hamstring issue. He's the 4th tailback on the Gamecocks roster, but the 212-pounder breaks a tackle and moves the chains.
Yeah, he got lucky he converted that one because he got a little wide on that run. I don't know if he took the handoff and closed his eyes. He got a little bit left of his lead blockers. Regardless, the effort enough to convert on the 4th down.
It's Dowdle in the backfield with Bentley, and Rico straight ahead dives for 7 more inside the 20-yard line as he's tackled by Jordan Griffin.
Doing an excellent job guard to guard. Zach Bailey, Donnell Stanley, Cedarius Hutcherson getting movement right there on the inside. It's hard to anchor down, literally and figuratively, for this defense when you're getting great push right there from your center and guards at the point of attack on these inside runs.
You didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah, it just happened.
Fake to Rico, up top to Debo. Out of bounds, incomplete. Good coverage by Donovan Sheffield, leading Debo out of bounds.
That was going to be a difficult catch regardless. Ball got away from Jake Bentley a little bit. True RPO that time. Zach Bailey pulling from his left guard position, selling what could have been an inside Charlie or inside power run. Bentley clearly liked his matchup outside with Samuel.
This is the 12th play of the drive. Bentley in zone and leading Shi Smith rather, too far in front of him, 4th down.
That time pressure on Bentley as he released it. Trying once again to get it to one of the Smith guys. If it's not Shi Smith that time or Trey Smith, a big target in the red zone.
Yeah, good point. Josh Smith was that guy that was in his face there, as now it leads Parker White onto the field to attempt this 33-yarder. Sophomore from Mount Pleasant. He's only had 1 attempt this season. And he makes the game 10-0 South Carolina. So the Gamecocks in total control offensively with 136 total yards in 2 drives and 10 points. All right, here it's Gamecocks 10, Vanderbilt nothing, Dari, as we'll continue to keep an eye on that one. Dogs and Mizzou had a good one today in Como. Mizzou gave them a good fight.
They really did. Turnovers really is what hurt Missouri all game long. Drew Lock, you knew that Missouri was capable of putting up some points, offensively moving the ball. But you're not going to be able to overcome that amount of turnovers in any football game, especially when you're fighting an uphill battle versus one of the better teams in the country.
Wakefield from the 6. And he is ahead near the 30-yard line. And so Vanderbilt will get the football back, trailing 10-0. Kyle Shurmur taking a deep shot, picked off by Rashad Fenton, who has both of the Gamecocks interceptions so far this year. Seen a lot of Jamari Wakefield so far. Keyshawn Vaughn is Vanderbilt's leading rusher on the season, and he's in the backfield now. Middle of the field is open with a big tight end. Jared Pinkney is up to the 36-yard line for 8.
Vanderbilt loves what they have in Jared Pinkney, and they use tight ends all the time in this offense. Multiple tight end sets, more so than any other team in the conference by a long shot. And part of the reason is because of the talent they have in number 80. He is a matchup problem for whomever the defense is that they're facing. Big target at 6'4", excellent route runner. Not the best blocker, but he's more than capable, so you can leave him in there on run downs.
Big game, over 100 yards receiving last week in South Bend. Vaughn moves the chains and moves up near the 45-yard line. The transfer from Illinois, who's gotten off to a good start here in Nashville.
That time, great job by Vanderbilt up front. Nice climb up to the second level. And they did a pretty good job on the down lineman. That time, Keir Thomas, who had slid down into 3 technique. That's the outside shoulder of the guard. And he got removed and displaced, and they got Keyshawn Vaughn up to the second level cleanly.
Vaughn, as the pocket completely collapses, and Javon Kinlaw greets him for a loss.
This time, South Carolina says, look, we're not going to sit here and let you run at us. So they pirate the front. That means they're going to slant their defensive line to the left of the formation that time. Offensive linemen have a difficult time redirecting on these big bodies, and Javon Kinlaw certainly has one of those. Penetration right away by the defensive line.
He has a big body, but he lost 40 pounds between last year and this one, now down to a spelt 305 on the stench home diet. 2nd and 13. That ball is deflected, and Shurmur just knocks it back down to the ground. 3rd down.
Javon Kinlaw again. You can lose 40 pounds, but those arms don't get any shorter. He does a great job. Again, they're running a stunt. He was inside, he's stunning outside, and he's able to get those big arms up there. He's got incredible reach. Saw him in meetings the other day. The guy's got to have 39-inch arms.
So he gave up Chinese food and pizza, but refuses to give up Chicken Supreme boxes.
Those priorities are solidly intact.
This is a 3rd and 13 for the Commodores. No snap. Shurmur looks around, and it's incomplete. Looks like his arm might have been redirected a bit. 4th down.
Bryson Allen Williams again. Brought a similar pressure earlier on a 3rd and long. And this is where Travaris Robinson, who said, look, we had some communication busts last week or 2 weeks ago versus Georgia. As you see Allen Williams there, you're exactly right, Taylor. He got his hand on the throwing arm of Kyle Shurmur as he was trying to deliver that football. Great pressure by the Gamecock defense.
Tomey for his 2nd punt. And Debo stands at his own 10. This is over his head and into the end zone for a touchback. Coming Bentley, inside handoff to Dowdle for a couple.
Who better to bring physicality to your offense than a guy named Moody?
His Jatarvius Whitlow's nickname is in fact Mooby, and he has looked great so far this year. I'm still shocked at Auburn's 4th quarter play the last 2 times they've lined up against LSU. Give the Tigers credit, the Bengal Tigers that is, for those two big victories. Dowdle skips a bit, dives up to the 25 where it'll be third down.
Again, the Commodore defense now doing a good job. On the heels of that turnover, you get the ball right back to your offense. Couldn't do much with it offensively, but again, stiffening on first and second down to try to make it more limiting for South Carolina offensively. Keep in mind, Bryan Edwards still having not returned to the lineup.
Gamecocks just 1 of 4 on this play so far. Bentley plenty of time, and it's intercepted across the middle of the field. It's picked off, and it's inside the 25-yard line as that's Dare Odengbo giving the Commodores their first turnover.
Odengbo dropping right underneath this throw. Jake Bentley doesn't feel it. That's the danger of it when they're leaving that line of scrimmage. Odengbo showing some athleticism for a big man.
Gamecocks owned the first quarter in Nashville, 10-0 over the Vanderbilt Commodores. But since that last play, Jake Bentley turns it over to Dare Odengbo, and the Doors are in good position on the field.
Best scoring opportunity all game for Vanderbilt in this one, and already a couple of squandered opportunities for South Carolina. As well as they started this game, one drive undone by penalties, and then you don't capitalize on a turnover in your own right. Your defense is getting the ball back for you. The offense for South Carolina giving it right back, though, to Vanderbilt with great field position.
Keyshawn Vaughn might have gotten one as Bryson Allen Williams makes another play, second down.
Bryson Allen Williams is a guy, we've already talked about him pressuring the quarterback, but no DJ Wannum, who has been a huge void because of it. Size on the edge. They've already had to borrow from the interior, moving Keir Thomas outside because of Wannum's absence. That kind of makes you all the more thin on the inside. That means Bryson Allen Williams, not only in pass rush downs, but from the second level, going to have to make his presence all the more felt.
Shurmur, middle of the field is open, and Pinckney is there to make the grab, and he rides Gamecock defenders to the 15-yard line, third and short.
Pinckney at left tight end, and he just gets lost. Stephen Montack coming up from safety. This was the opportunity they felt they had offensively, did the Commodores. They felt as if versus the linebackers and safeties of South Carolina, they could be able to threaten not only in the seams, but underneath with their tight ends.
Jair George is the lead back with Vaughn behind him on a 3rd and 2. And Vaughn follows George, and the last second dive might have given him the first down. Kobe Smith there on the tackle.
Was that second effort that was able to advance the ball. We're saying 4th down, not enough. Keir Thomas did a good job once again turning the play back inside. Kobe Smith playing inside now because of Thomas having to slide out there. You know what Derek Mason's saying is, I got back-to-back stops out of my defense. I'm going to trust them, even if this doesn't work out the way that they're playing right now, to get the ball back to me. But why not take a shot and get in the end zone?
And it's Shurmur who will get him the first down by diving ahead.
I like it. Call it a gamble, but on this drive, they've got some pretty good push. Shurmur does a great job finding a crease right there in the inside. A quarterback sneak, there is an art to it. Some of these guys want to jump right on top of the backs of their linemen. You got to let them get a little bit of a push. That time, Shurmur squirted forward for a couple of yards.
Followed one of my favorite names in the SEC, Egidio Della Ripa, the center for Vanderbilt.
Alphabet soup on that. Well done.
5 vowels and you're out of money. Shurmur has options and throws the swing pass to Vaughn, and Vaughn dives ahead near the 2 as Sherrod Green pushed him out.
Just swinging him right out of the backfield. Shurmur's looking, obviously, he's looking downfield, does a great job, though, and is comfortable doing this. This is 4 years starter. we're down here in the red zone, albeit wide open in the flat. Sherrod Green late triggering up in coverage. And right now knocking on the door of that fourth down gamble, allowing Vanderbilt a shot at the end zone here.
Vandy can get a first down as it's 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1 from the 2. Vaughn, first down and touchdown. He follows Eddie George's son, Jair, into the end zone for the Commodores' first score. Vaughn, who ran for over 1,000 yards in 2 seasons with the Fighting Illini, transfers into Nashville, and Parker Tomey makes the extra point. They got the interception from Dare Odengbo, and then they pay it off with a touchdown run from Keyshawn Vaughn. The doors are right back in it in Nashville. You know, Stinch, a buddy of mine that lives here in Nashville, called Tua a human cheat code.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Up, up, down, down, left, right, AB start was a select start. I think that was for Contra. Yeah, you get all the lives you need. Tunga Bailoa has got multiple. That keeps plays alive.
Debo Samuel has taken it to the house 3 times on kickoff returns. You always have to watch out as he gets back near the 35. Pistol set. Dowdle looking for space, and the extra effort, being patient, takes him at the 40-yard line for 5. Dimitri Moore on the tackle.
A lot more multi-tight end and tight end sets out of South Carolina in this game. Last game out versus Georgia, they came out, had an empty backfield, bigger formations, heavier personnel so far.
They've done this once with Debo, and again, and look at him breaking tackles, taking on defenders for the first down. This guy isn't just a speedster, he is a one tough player who can do it in a variety of ways.
The second time we've seen him do this. And he's just so strong in his lower body. You could see it on the kickoff return. The guy doesn't just have speed, and he's not going down. The first defender to arrive better have a friend close by, because you're not going to get him down solo.
That's what you notice now. I mean, he has an NFL body. That body moved the chains. Now Bentley wants to take a shot, and he has a man wide open. It's Shi Smith again, inside the 5. Preventing the touchdown was Aleem Muhammad, 52 yards.
Shi Smith's already done this once. He's able to get downfield quickly. An explosive play for the Gamecocks. And you can see South Carolina looking to jump the football and forcing Vanderbilt to call a timeout.
Timeout Vanderbilt, the first time out of the half.
They knew that they might be compromised with all the weapons that are out wide for South Carolina, and they have been on display. Shi Smith putting on a show at wide receiver for the Gamecocks.
Gamecocks on the doorstep. Rico Dowdle, touchdown, South Carolina.
I don't know if it's because Brian Edwards was back out there or not, and it didn't matter. You get a couple explosives. Debo Samuel sets you up with pretty good field position off that kickoff return, the tap pass for a big plus play, and then you hit a shot downfield to Shi Smith. All of the concerns coming into this game from Vanderbilt's perspective defensively are materializing so far here in the first half.
Parker White makes it 17-7. Shi Smith caught the longest pass of the season, 52 yards, to set this up. Shi has 2 big catches today, and then Rico Dowdle pays it off. Gamecocks up 10. If the season ended today, which obviously we have months to go, Alabama #1. They're up 8 right now on the Aggies. Georgia wins on the road in a good game against Missouri by 14. Clemson's up 2 touchdowns at Georgia Tech, and #4 Ohio State with Urban Meyer back on the sidelines, blowing out Tulane 35-6. Shurmur is looking his way instead, yes, and throws inside the 40-yard line to Lipscomb. On command, Matt Stinchcomb says, throw it to Lipscomb, 19 yards.
God, they got the booth bugged. You had to know it was a matter of time that they would try to get it to Lipscomb. They've already gotten Jared Pinkney involved in the passing game. They needed a spark. Other than the turnover giving Vanderbilt a scoring opportunity, they haven't crossed midfield. Right now, already nearing their deepest penetration on all their other offensive possessions after the big pass to Lipscomb.
This is Vaughn following blockers and a first down run into Gamecock territory.
Good looking play here. Pulling your left tackle and guard, getting them out front and able to fit up on the second level. You're asking the pursuit defenders to get out there to the perimeter if you get blocks out front.
George, the lead back, the fullback, opening a big hole that Jamari Wakefield followed for 9 yards.
Seeing more gap scheme runs, meaning you're pulling backside guards. This time it's just a power. They're doing a great job. You get a double team right at the point of attack, and you can get displacement along the defensive line. Great point of entry that time on the ground. Nice pull around and a clean hole to run into.
Wakefield's back there by himself on this 2nd and 1 run. See if the Doors take a shot here. Instead, it's a first down run and more inside the 15-yard line. Jam Williams on the tackle after 10 more for the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida.
We talked about South Carolina finishing runs physically. Great job again up front, right in the heart of the South Carolina defensive front, and Wakefield hammering his way into the red zone. An impressive finish to that run and a nice hole on the right side behind big Bruno Reagan.
Lipscomb gets another touch inside the 10, and he's pushed out inside the 5.
Well, nice play here. I'm surprised we didn't see a flag come out. It spit it out there real quickly. I don't know how that's not holding. It's right there in front of you. Keyshawn Nixon trying to get loose of the block. Regardless, Lipscomb able to get upfield and set up a 1st and goal.
5 plays of 10+ yards on this drive for the Doors, with 2 more tight ends in this formation. Wakefield moves the pile ahead to the 2.
You could see starting to stack up the attempts now. You know, it started out, it ignited with the big throw to Lipscomb. Now you're able to get some of the ground game going.
And it doesn't matter which one it is. We asked Andy Ludwig, who's your best back? And he said, the hot hand.
Right.
Whether it's Vaughn, we haven't seen Kari Blassingame yet carry the football, Jamari Wakefield. We could also see Josh Crawford in this game. You see 3 tight ends in this formation with Wakefield again, nothing doing.
That time, good job by Shamik Blackshear. He got into the backfield and was able to get underneath Wakefield, trip him up before he could get back to the line of scrimmage. Penetration on any run, doesn't matter if it's near the goal line or not. Great job that time submarining and getting upfield quickly along the defensive line, just enough to slow down Wakefield. And you see there Blackshear substituting late to get off the field.
11th play of the drive for Vanderbilt. Lipscomb makes the catch. Did he have possession of the football? No. Fights there with Keyshawn Nixon and brings it to his body. But they say he did not control the catch at least in the field of play.
You know, it looks almost like his right hip. And it touches almost bang bang with his right elbow, but he's got the ball, he brings it in here. Look at his hip.
After review, the receiver controlled the ball, got a foot down in bounds, touchdown.
Elisha Lipscomb, the leading receiver in the Southeastern Conference, didn't have a target before this possession. Matt Stinchcomb pleads for them to give him the football, and he has 4 catches for 29 yards and another acrobatic touchdown catch to give the Commodores 6 more.
He talked about replaying the catch that wasn't at the end of the Notre Dame game last week. You can see when he got his opportunities on that series, he made them count.
Extra point by Riley Gay is good.
What a great answer by Vanderbilt. And we talked about, the impact. So both receivers, Bryan Edwards leaves the lineup, gets right back in. Shurmur, that time 5 of 6, 40 yards and a touchdown on the drive. A huge difference getting that ball to number 16 and Elisha Lipscomb at receiver.
Kick it away from Debo, and the Gamecocks get it at the 25. Bentley will escape and then throw ahead. Look at that, right in front of where he needed to stop, and throws it to Shi Smith for the first down.
You just knew that Bentley was going to tuck and run right there. And he kept alive, did a great job. Establish your eye contact. Shi Smith coming back, giving his quarterback somewhere to go with the football, and able to get a conversion off the scramble.
Bentley under pressure, and down he goes. Well, he throws it away, and it is caught by Samuel, and he'll lose some yardage. Probably should have just taken the sack, as he'll lose 5.
Caleb Pert wins right now on an inside move. Working against Dennis Daly. He got the initial pressure. Bentley is trying to get rid of it.
Clock running. Now throws up top to Edwards, and he makes a terrific catch down at the Commodore 41-yard line. That's 16 yards and a first down.
It's twice where we've seen Bryan Edwards showing his athleticism with the ball in the air. 6'3" frame, and he's using every inch of it.
And they get the play off as Vanderbilt fans think he didn't control that catch. Dowdle gets inside the 35-yard line down to the 32.
You see the pace. They did not have time to review it. But you see a defender down.
Dimitri Moore
Pops back up. With the tempo, South Carolina, right after the explosive play, they get right over the football.
This is 2 plays ago, what Vanderbilt fans were all riled up about.
That's a catch. It's a great catch. In fact, you see his left hand establishing him down, inbounds, and he controls that football the entire way. It's a good, no review. There's nothing to review there. Great catch, contested catch by Bryan Edwards. You see both he and Elisha Lipscomb here in the second quarter starting to assert themselves, especially this final possession, able to make their quarterbacks right on contested throws.
And you see they're inside Parker White's range. His career long is 47 yards, but he has the leg to attempt north of 50. Quick throw again. Samuel with the stiff arm of Sheffield moves ahead for 9 more with 26 seconds to go.
You think number 1 for South Carolina is physical? I mean, unbelievable. It went from a stiff arm to a choke slam.
After they move the chains, here they are again, now inside the 15-yard line as Edwards makes the catch.
You see Bentley hitting the timeout. He's shy of the first down. And those are the throws that Bentley was talking about. Brian McClendon was hitting. Anticipate those throws. That ball's out of his hand before Edwards even came out of his break.
No snap. Bentley moves up in the pocket, now escapes, and will run to the sideline out of bounds with 9 seconds to go. As Moore pushes him out. Lost half a yard there.
As it strung out, too. And for a moment, You had to know Bentley had to muscle his way over there, try to get that clock stopped. To have yet another opportunity to take a shot at this end zone before half.
Can use the whole field with that one timeout, but like you said, probably their last chance before having to attempt a field goal if they don't get in the end zone. Bentley buying time, end zone, incomplete, just over the head of Edwards with 1 second left, and a flag coming in.
Ineligible player downfield, offense number 72.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's 3 ineligible receivers downfield that we've had in this football game. And this time on Donnell Stanley, your center. You see that very often. Have one called on Cedarius Hutcherson. It's just an added layer of difficulty now for Parker White.
He's been terrific in his career, his 2-year career, inside 40 yards. And this one is from 35. Only Gordon with a good hold and White with a good kick, and the Gamecocks lead at the half by 6. South Carolina comes out like gangbusters in the first quarter with a 10-0 lead through an interception on the last play of the quarter that led to a Vanderbilt touchdown. Commodores would score again, as would South Carolina in this quarter. And the Gamecocks' late field goal gives them a 6-point lead. Here's Chris Budden with Coach Muschamp.
Coach, you get some points before the half. You said you wanted to get some more consistency out of the run game. What have you been pleased with?
Oh, we've run the ball extremely well. We got to stay with it. We're doing a good job in the run game, and really hurt ourselves a little bit with a couple penalties, and that was it.
On the other side, they've found some kind of rhythm in their run game. What do you need to do to disrupt them in the second half?
We're moving a little too much on defense. We need to go play blocks, and we're played much better when we've done that. They had one drive, and then they had the short drive off the interception.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Gamecocks 20, Vanderbilt 14. Now let's go to the Auto Owners Insurance halftime report with Dari, Chiz, and Mr. Dory. The 35-yard line to his friend Elisha Lipscomb for 17 yards.
Heck of a drive starter. This is exactly the way they got things going in the second quarter. Great job by Shurmur, climbing up in the pocket but not flushing out of the pocket. You can see that. It's the Tom Brady shuffle. How many times you hit the bottom of your drop, you let the rushers come to the quarterback level, and you shuffle up in the pocket and deliver a strike.
Kari Blassingame with the carry. The senior from Huntsville moves it for a few. Elisha Lipscomb said that he felt like the little brother of Sherfield and Duncan, the 2 great receivers that played for the Commodores the last few years. He said, now I'm the big brother to these guys, Chris Pierce, Trey Ellis, Cam Johnson, Donovan Tennyson, and he's relishing that role. He did say that Jared Pinkney is the Batman of this offense, and Pinkney said, no, I'm Robin. He's Batman. Nevertheless, those guys have been great in the passing game this year. Shurmur into double coverage, tried to throw it to Lipscomb there, and he was covered up.
That time lucky that that ball was thrown high, because Keyshawn Nixon and Stephen Montag on top and underneath Elisha Lipscomb. He's going to get attention, and he certainly did on that route. As you see Montag, 22, running underneath that route. Shurmur wanted to come to Lipscomb all the way. He's obviously a playmaker. But Montag, good job coming in and running underneath the route. Number 22 for the Gamecocks, needing to have a good game. They're counting on him to communicate with this young secondary with new faces.
Here come the Gamecocks. Pressure picked up, underneath throw, but short of the first down, as Lipscomb is wrapped up there for 4th down as Keyshawn Nixon made that tackle, senior from Compton, California.
A great tackle by Keyshawn Nixon. Elisha Lipscomb physical receiver, a guy that can break tackles like that, knowing that he just need to muscle that ball up another 3 yards.
You know who Keyshawn Nixon's Pop Warner coach was?
Was it John Heisman?
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, okay.
Close.
Similar football minds.
Parker Tony's punt. Fielded by Edwards, lets it go over his head into the end zone. Florida touchback, a 55-yard punt, and the Gamecocks get it at the 20. Hey, Dari, we had Tennessee 2 weeks ago, and we had the Gators last week, so naturally I'm going to ask Mr. Stinchcomb who wins between the Vols and the Gators in Knoxville tonight.
Can I think about it? I'm going to answer it now.
One play. You get this play to think about it. Bentley fires across the middle to Shi Smith on the slant, and Shi has an 11-yard catch.
I think the Gators, top to bottom, are the more talented football team, albeit on the road. They had a confidence win last week versus Colorado State. I like them in what is a strong rivalry from yesteryear. Both rebuilding modes for those programs right now.
South Carolina already over 100 yards today, just 54 against the Georgia Bulldogs. And again, they were down 41-10 at one point in that game. So circumstances forced Jake Bentley to throw the football on almost every single down. Bentley, quick throw, and it's caught. And turning around and getting near midfield are the Gamecocks, as Casey Crosby, the tight end, made that catch for 13 yards.
And a great catch. Did a great job reaching out and making that snag.
And now A.J. Turner approaches the Vanderbilt 41-yard line for 9 more.
Well, Casey Crosby looks like he's leaving the game with a banged-up hand as Turner's able to get that edge quickly. Offense jumping the ball quickly after the explosive play.
Pumps now throws, and did Deebo Samuel make the catch? They say he did, for 14 yards.
He would have had to tap dance pretty well, because it looked like his right foot is out of bounds as he's making this catch.
They get it off again before they can review it. And A.J. Turner inside the 20-yard line. That's twice today. Coach Muschamp, Coach McClendon, and the Gamecocks offense have gone so quickly they couldn't take a review. Now Bentley takes the strike to the end zone, and Brian Edwards rather, unable to make that catch, and one-on-one coverage there, incomplete.
Great defensive play by Jawan Williams. He splits the hands of Brian Edwards and plays that football right out of his grasp. But you're right, Taylor. South Carolina in lightning mode right now. As you see them look to the sideline, the previous 3 plays, bang, 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 didn't allow for the review. It looked like Samuel had stepped out of bounds.
Dowdle back in. Bentley, another shot to the end zone, one-on-one, underthrown as he tries to get it to Deebo Samuel. 4th down. It's Donovan Sheffield that was there with Deebo.
Singled up in coverage with Sheffield. You see a little bit of hand fighting. This ball's underthrown. If you're going to do that, Bentley's going to want that ball inside. A lot of contact as he's trying to play back to the ball, and Sheffield never getting his head around to play that ball in the air.
Parker White is 2 for 2, this from 36 yards. And he gives South Carolina a 9-point lead. Gamecocks on top in Nashville at the moment.
Make no mistake, though, if you're not tempo right there, we're going to take a longer look at it. Twice now, South Carolina, with that lightning pace picking up.
Wakefield comes out again, and Vanderbilt will be just past the 20-yard line. Now on the ground with Kari, and he gets nothing. As Bryson Allen Williams has had a big day, is there again.
Number 4 stepping up his game big time. We talk about edge presence. He's been able to supply that. We talk about these 4 downs, these 4-down linemen that South Carolina's pretty much lived in this game. He is the edge player.
Shurmur, wide open receiver, and he cannot hit Trey Ellis.
Underthrown football. And Ellis is all alone. He's got a chance to come up with that one. It would have been yet another explosive. 2 out of the last 3 plays. Negative yardage play on 1st down to set up this 3rd and long.
Shurmur sacked, ball out. Recovered by South Carolina and down inside the 5-yard line. That's Aaron Sterling that recovered it, and it was forced by Javon Kinlaw.
Kinlaw was zeroed up right on Della Ripa, and he wins right now. Great job, Aaron Sterling. Heads up play. We talk about mentioning Bryson Allen Williams. Javon Kinlaw has lived in the Commodore backfield in this ball game. And that is not an easy block. Big body. And so far, 2 forced fumbles, a couple of sacks, and 3 tackles for loss for number 3. That is one heck of a stat line with more than a quarter to play.
Our friend Chuck Dunlap that works in the SEC office, I believe, will be sending us an email on Monday about Mr. Kinlaw's performance. Deebo Samuel with the catch to the goal line, dives for it, and he's marked just short.
If you can get the ball out to Deebo Samuel in space, he's got a one-on-one matchup. We talked about how strong his lower body is. He's not a huge guy.
Straight ahead running for Mon Denson, touchdown. Junior from LaGrange, Georgia, missed the first couple of games with a hamstring injury, and he is their power back.
Mon Denson runs the football like a blind dog in a butcher shop, man. He's just coming up there, elbows and knees. I don't care what's in front of me. I'm just going to churn. Spins, muscled his way into the end zone. He's probably bruised more than a couple of kidneys on those offensive linemen, slamming up in there the way he does.
Parker White makes it 30-14 as the Gamecocks have increased their lead by 10 points here in the 3rd quarter. Shurmur fumble out as Kinlaw forces it. Sterling runs with it, and Denson finishes off. This is the 28th meeting between South Carolina and Vanderbilt. The Gamecocks lead the series 23-4. And they have won 9 in a row. Last 2 years have been close calls. Elliott Fry, a 55-yard field goal here in Nashville. Last season, the Doors outgained the Gamecocks, but more penalties, more turnovers. South Carolina won by a touchdown in Columbia, and here they are on top again. You see it there. It's been 10 years since Vandy was on top in this game, and again, it's Wakefield from the goal line to the 24-yard line. Tonight, after Arkansas takes on Auburn, the SEC Now team will recap all the games with highlights, analysis, interviews, and everything else. No one covers the SEC like we do. You can also see it streaming live on the ESPN app. Commodores have been great in the second half so far this season, but this will be the tallest order to date.
And you look at that series, the most they've scored is 27 points. South Carolina already eclipsing that historically. Vanderbilt's got to get going now. They have to avoid the negative yardage play so that they don't get into these 3rd down situations. They can't hold up in protection.
Wakefield on the carry again near the 30.
It's enough. That's enough. You know, is it an explosive? No question it's not. But this gives you an opportunity now. We've seen this in the game. If it's not a 1st down where they take a shot off a play action, where they can here and still have a chance to convert on 3rd.
Quick throw. And Lipscomb trying to follow a block, instead finds some space back towards the field for a 1st down.
So they go the opposite, right? Don't worry with the play action. Let's get it to a playmaker. in space. Lipscomb, nice patience that time. He waited for the posse to arrive. He knew that he would have blockers coming to him on that quick now pass. Did a good job of getting upfield.
So Lipscomb now with 6 catches on the day. They actually will call that a rush.
Lightning has been determined. The game will be suspended.
Unfortunately, we've been waiting for this moment for quite some time, and the same storm that moved through Mississippi today and delayed that Ole Miss victory over Kent State has done this to us here in Tennessee. Has it on a 1st and 10. Clock is running. Under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Rain's been coming down the last 20 minutes or so. Swinging out of the backfield to Vaughn. And Keyshawn's breaking tackles into Gamecock territory. And he's out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Down to Chris Button.
Well, South Carolina had the momentum going into that rain delay. I asked Will Muschamp what they did to try and keep that energy up. He said not much, but besides try and stay hydrated, have some fuel. He said you'll be able to tell if we can come out on a fast start.
27-yard reception is what they give up on the first play since the break. Vaughn, the redshirt junior, went to high school at Pearl Cone here in Nashville, played his first couple of years of college ball up in Champaign at Illinois. Big gain out of the backfield, now takes the carry from Shurmur straight ahead and dives for a few.
They're able to pick up. They hit that pass to Elisha Lipscomb, then lightning strikes. You come right out and get Keyshawn Vaughn a couple of touches. And I like the way number 5 not only finished the catch on the previous snap, but the way he finished that run. As we could tell, you were starting to take on water on the Commodore sideline, the way South Carolina was starting to spool up points and momentum. Now they've been able to re-season. It was almost like a second halftime. And so far, this drive continuing to go well.
Empty backfield. Shurmur, quick pass, and throws it behind his intended target. Incomplete. Josh Crawford out of the, typically a tailback, but lined up in the slot there.
Stephen Montag, who we mentioned from a communication standpoint was challenged, that time coming up in coverage and able to break up the reception, right, just in time to deny Crawford the catch.
3rd and 6. Shurmur, pocket breaks down, and stepping in front of the football is Montag. Incomplete, as Shurmur was looking for Pinckney.
Back-to-back plays by the Gamecock safety. And pressure again from Javon Kinlaw on the inside. Big number 3. You see Montag underneath that route, able to get his hands on it. And if you're Cal Shurmur, you're starting to wonder, is it impacting his mindset as that clock is ticking in his head? And obviously a 4th down, you keep in mind that they've got a playmaker in number 4 at the top of your screen, Bryson Allen Williams. He has been a nightmare so far in this game.
Ball is on the ground. Williams hits Shurmur as he tries to unload it. And it's a turnover on downs. The Gamecocks get it back.
It's an in-tackle stunt. And you see the snap already, the elements impacting that one. Even if Shurmur fields it cleanly, he is going to get grilled by Bryson Allen Williams. Back-to-back plays by that man, number 22, and then number 4, once again rattling the passer of the Commodores.
Players at every level of Will Muschamp's defense today that have had big-time games. Kinlaw on the line, Allen Williams, linebacker, Montag, and Fenton both in the secondary. Fake the Dowdle over the top, wide open inside the 35 is Brian Edwards. First down, Gamecocks 22 more at the end of the third quarter. South Carolina owned the third frame through a 40-minute delay. They go to the fourth quarter up 16 on the road in Nashville, looking for their 10th straight win against Vanderbilt. Coach Muschamp is in his third season as the head coach of the Gamecocks. 6 wins his first year, 9 his second. Continuing to make progress in Columbia, and he's watching his Gamecocks on the march again. Bentley again doing a little option football here.
He's getting greedy now. That's the fourth time.
That looked a little greedy.
We've seen 3 different times in this game where Bentley's pulled it. That time,
that did not remind you of Keenan Reynolds at Navy running the option?
You know, it's weird. It did not. There was no pitch man. That was the biggest difference. He's had a heck of a game. That time probably was a give read, given the forced defender outside.
Turner, look at that hole he runs through. Football on the ground, though, and Vandy dives on it. This could be the second straight possession a South Carolina running back has put it on the ground, as Allen George is the one that knocked it out. And it's a Vanderbilt signal.
Will Muschamp challenged his running backs after the Georgia game. They had to do a better job as ball carriers. He is going to challenge his running backs again after this game. Challenge might be a kind word. You've got a 2-possession lead in the fourth quarter. You're going in to score, you fumble. You're going into the red zone, you fumble. Ball security is paramount, and you're allowing an opponent to stay in the ball game. Penalties and turnovers and ball security issues. Prime coaching opportunities, to be sure, and an opportunity for Vanderbilt now to start staging their comeback.
9:38 left, plenty of time for the Commodores. If they can keep getting plays like this from Jared Pinkney, their tight end, that's 15 yards.
All the time in the world. And Vanderbilt, as we've mentioned time and again, they've been a second-half football team. And they've had 2 halftimes effectively in this one with the lightning delay. Came out hot there in the third quarter, only to be shut down. 2 turnovers, keeping Vanderbilt alive here in the second half.
Wakefield is near midfield. Tackled there by Keyshawn Nixon right near another first down.
Both defenses, rush defense, you're seeing huge holes now for both of the ground games to get going for their respective offenses. South Carolina just haven't protected the ball.
Shurmur under pressure, somehow escapes, incomplete. Just looking for Elisha Lipscomb. It will be third down. Just want to remind you, in about 5 minutes here on SEC Network, we'll be going over to Auburn and Arkansas. We'll be moving to SEC Alternate Network.
A big third down, and keep in mind, Vaughn not available. A big void in the middle of that South Carolina front.
He's 0 for 5 on third down in the second half. And they're not going to get it here. Wakefield gets stuffed. Fourth down, it's Aaron Sterling that was there.
A fantastic play. Right at the point. Playing well with their hands. Once again, moving the defensive front. Sterling was there to clean it up. Great job by the defensive line.
And Vandy has to go for it on their own side of the field with just over 8 minutes remaining here on this fourth down.
Watch the movement by the Carolina defensive line.
Shurmur's got nothing. Finally finds a receiver open underneath, and that is a first down catch by C.J. Bowler for 7 yards.
Shurmur throws so well on the move. You see him able to throw off platform and deliver a strike. He's been on the move unintentionally a lot of times. That time called to sprint out. When it's designed, he's comfortable. But when he's got pressure, he has struggle.
30-14, South Carolina leads Vanderbilt here in the fourth quarter with just under 7 minutes remaining in the game. Keyshawn Nixon just commits pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 9. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, early with that left hand, it's clear. I mean, we've seen a couple of no calls in this one. That one gets called. There's about 4 flags flying in from everywhere. Keyshawn Nixon, the fastest of the DBs, among the fastest on the team, matched up with Elisha Lipscomb one-on-one. Same matchup here at the bottom of your screen.
And stepping in front. Gamecocks again as Nixon makes up for the last play. Second out.
If you're a DB, you have to have almost instant amnesia. You don't worry about the play that happened just before. That's a great job by Keyshawn Nixon coming back and not letting one play beat you twice. Play right through the receiver on the ball, the 7th pass breakup for South Carolina in this game.
Shurmur, muddy pocket, and Lipscomb dives ahead inside the 20.
That time, you got a true freshman in Rick Sandage, a guy that is in there because of Javon Kinlaw. He's being forced into service. The coaches knew that they were going to have to get some depth. Shurmur throwing under duress, and it hasn't mattered who was lined up along this defensive front for South Carolina, and still able to deliver a pass and catch.
12th play of the drive. A terrible snap. Can Shurmur get on it? Ball still alive. The flag is thrown. Vanderbilt will retain possession, but will lose a chunk of yardage. We could have a penalty on the Gamecocks trying to move it forward.
There is no foul on the play. The ball was batted backwards, which is legal by rule. Vanderbilt's ball at the spot it went out of bounds. 4th down.
Bruno Reagan has slid over to center. He started this game at right guard. You see it. He's trying to set up for pass protection. That's low and outside. And Kyle Shurmur, who you better know, after the shots he's taken in this game, he's keeping his eyes on what's coming at him. Couldn't field that snap. Couple that with the rainy conditions.
And look at the down and distance here after that 32-yard loss. Shurmur just trying to get something off, and it's incomplete, and the Gamecocks get it back once more. South Carolina's overcome a bunch of injuries on the defensive line, but they're still harassing Kyle Shurmur.
ODU, they're not scared to throw it around the yard. That is remarkable. In the ACC, wow, it has been a rough season so far for that conference.
Tyson Williams inside the 40-yard line for 10 more. Now Virginia Tech's arch rival, Virginia, had a big win against Louisville today, and they played their home game against Ohio in this stadium last week because of Hurricane Florence.
Kind of the Commodores to afford the Combines here at Tudley Field to the Cavaliers. And now Tyson Williams getting a chance to not fumble. And Rico Dowdle checks back in, but you have to wonder the messaging over there. Jake Bentley's dad, Bobby Bentley, the running backs coach, confident, having a heart-to-heart with his backs.
Rico waiting for the whistle here, and he gets one at the 35-yard line.
Zach Bailey coming in there, cleaning up the pile for his running back, and Rico Dowdle, he got this game going on the ground. First play of the game, inside run, get downhill, bang your head against somebody, maybe even a goal post. 238 rushing yards, 261 passing yards. You want to preach balance in meetings, that's the way it looks on game day. There's Bobby Bentley, the dad of Jake Bentley.
Legendary high school football coach in Palmetto State, before he went down and worked for Gus Malzahn at Auburn for a few years before being asked to come back to his home state, be the running backs coach. Rico Dowdle inside the 30 near the 25-yard line, and Vandy will call another timeout. 3rd and 7 as Williams around the right into the inside the 5-yard line. If he didn't lose his footing, he would have been in the end zone. 1st and goal.
Tyson Williams, he'll hear about it a little bit. It's a great run. Able to get on the edge, and you could see it captured right away. He's turning upfield and just barely. You talk about a shoestring tackle. Just enough. Jordan Griffin is a desperation. Nice tackle to save the touchdown.
Season high in rushing yards, 270 on the day. Well, now it's a few more for Dowdle to the doorstep. He lacks extra effort, just inside the 1. For more on Dowdle, let's go down to Chris.
Taylor, this is a guy who suffered so many injuries in his career. In 2016, he had a sports hernia, then he broke a leg, and then he missed spring camp because he pulled a hamstring. And at that point, Will Muschamp challenged him that he needed to be better about his health. So he worked out more, stayed hydrated, and he gave up fast foods and fried foods. And he told me that's made all the difference in his health, which, Stinch, I was just wondering, when you gave up fried foods, that helped you too?
When was that again? I think I'm just procrastinating. I made the decision, never pulled the trigger.
Williams dives over, touchdown.
They had a chance to do this on the 2 previous offensive possessions. They ended in fumbles. This time, Tyson Williams, who started this possession carrying the football, finishes it, goes up top, gets a touchdown. And the Gamecock offense doing a great job at the start of both halves. And they just haven't let up. The turnovers hurt, but 20 unanswered points here in the second half.
White's extra point makes it 37-14. Now Dowdle has 20 carries on the day, but Turner and Williams' yards per carry are higher than Dowdle's. So there's no drop off whatsoever, no matter who's running the football.
Everybody's got something to brag about, right? Keep everyone happy in the running back meeting room. Spread the football around. They accomplished what they wanted to get done in this game. A heck of a game.
Wakefield decides to come out again. He takes it past the 25-yard line. Here's what the Gamecocks have ahead here is they really get going in SEC play at the Wildcats next Saturday night. Mizzou's coming to Columbia in 2 weeks. They're the only team in the SEC that has to play consecutive road games in conference twice, doing it right now and then again in November.
Yeah, they knew they had to get back right. Not only did they miss an opportunity to scrub the memory of that Georgia game, because it was not a pleasant one with the cancellation of that Marshall game, but they had to reestablish themselves, get back on the right track in conference play. Division game, you're going to play another division game, and then another division game. And then obviously the West Division opponent being A&M. And this game, I think, is going to help erase some of those memories. Keep the lessons, but move past that defeat at the hands of Georgia.
You see Kinlaw walking around under his own power over there on the sidelines as Bowler makes the catch. What do you think Grantland Rice's lead would be for this game today?
I would never presume
Something about
to even propose a lead.
Fighting mentality that the Gamecocks came out, balanced attack.
I like that so much. Yeah. Maybe reference a blitzkrieg defensively. Given the timing of his writings.
Wakefield inside the 45. Jam Williams on the tackle for the Gamecocks.
Maybe like a skedaddle in there, maybe somewhere. Yeah. Seems like a an aged term.
Grantland's alma mater, Mr. Rice's alma mater, is going to need some work in the next few weeks as Mo Hassan takes the snap and goes inside the 30-yard line. Backup quarterback for Vanderbilt, sophomore from Miami, who's seen some limited action, gets to finish this one up.
Vanderbilt's going to have to start fighting their way back through the schedule. Once again, incapable of getting that opening conference game victory that has eluded Coach Mason since he's been here. A confident team coming into this one. But early on, you could tell South Carolina was coming out swinging.
Vandy's going to fall to 2-2. They do have Tennessee State next week here in Nashville. They're in Athens in 2 weeks. Had that shocking win over Georgia a few years ago. I believe you were there to see that.
Yeah, we actually called that game. It was right at the dawning of Kirby Smart's era there as the head coach of Georgia. A landmark victory for the Vanderbilt program.
It would lead Derek Mason and the Commodores to their only bowl appearance in his time here in Nashville.
Zach Cunningham, a standout performer at linebacker.
And Hassan and Vanderbilt finish with a touchdown. He'll take off inside the 10, and he's tackled at the 5-yard line at the end of the game. South Carolina with a complete performance today, dominating Vanderbilt by a final of 37-14 for their 10th straight win over the Commodores. It's the second time in 3 games that Will Muschamp's offense goes over 500 yards.
The offense got going. Defensively, you think of the one drive, really, where Elisha Lipscomb got going. They got the ball to him, made 4 catches, ended up in the end zone. They had a short field that set up the other score due to a turnover by Jake Bentley to a dropping nose tackle and a zone pressure. Otherwise, you have to be pleased with the performance on both sides of the ball for South Carolina.
And Chris is standing by with Jake Bentley.
Jake, you had this intense reaction after that last touchdown by Williams. How did this feel after the week off and the loss to Georgia to finally get out here today?
Yeah, I mean, it was a culmination of just, persevering through this whole game. We can't control the elements. Our team did a great job of staying locked in. It had some red zone trips that maybe didn't turn out successful. So to be able to execute late in the game and to kind of put the game away was huge for us and just huge for our team.
There was an effort to get the run game going back today. What was the difference?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it was an effort by the whole team to get the run game going, to do whatever it takes to get the run game going, because we know how important that is to stay balanced as offense.
You talk about the balance also on defense. This is a D that's been talking trash because they went in some turnovers. They got him today. What can you say about the job they did?
Yeah, excellent job. Excellent job. I kind of put 7 on myself. So really, they only gave up 7 points the whole game. And that's what I was telling guys on the sideline. The whole rest of the season, it's when we need them to step up, they're going to step up. And when they need us, we're going to do the same. Just a real team effort, a real big win for us.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Taylor.
Gamecocks with a sound win in Nashville tonight. For Matt Stinchcomb, Chris Button, Chris Damiani, Dan McMahon, and our entire crew, I'm Taylor Zarzer from a rainy Music City.